In preparation for the operating list, the required set is identified, then safely removed from the storage rack and placed onto a trolley, checking that the tamper-proof locks are undamaged and that the chemical indicators are brown. This set is then taken to the theatre preparation room. Please follow your hospital's specific policies and procedures in theatre when handling the Aesculap Sterile container. The scrub nurse now prepares the sterile field. For prime line lids, the circulating nurse confirms the locks are undamaged and the chemical indicators are brown. Removing the lid breaks the tamper locks. The lid is then held up for the scrub nurse to confirm that both the filters are present. For the basis lids, the circulating nurse confirms the locks are undamaged and the chemical indicators are brown. Removing the lids breaks the tamper locks. Circulating nurse then holds the lid up for the scrub nurse to confirm that the filters are present and the chemical indicator tabs have changed to brown. The set is then carefully removed from the container and placed on the sterile field, where it is laid up for surgery. The operation now proceeds as usual. Once the procedure is over and the instrument count complete, the instruments are returned to the basket and placed back into the Aesculap container and the lid securely locked in place, ensuring secure return of contaminated instruments. The Aesculap container is then removed from the operating theatre and placed into the dirty returns trolley for return to the decontamination unit. On return to the decontamination unit, the instrument sets are removed from the dirty returns trolley and prepared for decontamination. The prime line lid is placed on a dedicated wash carriage at a slight angle to allow for drainage. The filters are not removed for washing. For the basis aluminium lid version, remove the tracking label holder, then remove both single-use filters which are disposed of after every use. Long life filters, however, are not removed for washing. The lid is then placed on a dedicated wash carriage at a slight angle to allow for drainage. The instrument set is now removed from the Aesculap container and the container base placed on the wash carriage again at a slight angle to allow for drainage. The instrument set is scanned into the department and the instruments prepared for processing. The wash carriage is identified and the basket of instruments assigned to it. Then they are placed onto the wash carriage ready for disinfection. In this hospital, the containers are batch scanned and then taken to the assigned washer disinfector to be processed using an aluminium safe detergent. The instrument sets are then taken to the assigned washer disinfector for processing. Finally, the dirty returns trolley is loaded into a dedicated trolley wash for processing. With the disinfection cycles now complete, instruments and containers are allowed to cool before being checked and packed. The instrument set is then scanned, generating a checklist and tracking label. All instruments are checked for condition and functionality before being prepared according to the set list. On completion of the laying up process, the Aesculap container base and lid, as specified on the checklist, are collected and checked for condition and functionality prior to packing. For the prime line lid, carry out a visual inspection of the lid seal and handles. Then remove the filter covers to check the filters for any damage. It is also important to check that they are correctly loaded. The triangle indicators should be facing each other as described in our function test. The basket of instruments is now placed into the container. The set list is folded and placed under the basket. And finally, the lid is placed onto the container and the handles securely locked into place. For the baseless aluminium lid version, carry out a visual inspection of the lid seal, lid handles and filter retainers, checking for any damage as described in our function test. Now install a new single-use filters. Replace the filter retainer, which when locked into place will make an audible click to confirm it is attached securely. Long life filters will just require checking for damage. The basket of instruments is now placed into the container. The set list is folded and placed under the basket. And finally, the lid is placed onto the container. A new tracking label is fixed to our dedicated label holder and located on the container base. New tamper-proof locks are installed at either end to secure the container lid. The set is now ready for sterilisation. The sets are then individually scanned and loaded into the steriliser to be processed. Containers can also be sterilised stacked on top of each other, optimising the available chamber space. During the sterilisation process, the chemical indicator will change from pink to a shade of brown. Following a successful sterilisation cycle, the carriage is removed from the steriliser, checked, scanned and approved. The sets are then allowed a cooling period appropriate for the set type. The tamper-proof locks are checked for integrity and that the chemical indicators have changed from pink to brown. The sets are scanned and loaded into the assigned cleaned returns trolley before being dispatched to the main theatre store. On arrival, the set is placed into its dedicated position, ready for the cycle to begin again.